Hi everyone, my name is Anil Sadaram and I'm here today with Jerome and we're going to talk about blockchain. So Jerome, first question, what is blockchain?
Blockchain is a combination of technologies that enable us to take ownership of our data, share our data, and ensure that whatever happens to our data is what needs to happen to it.
Okay, so is it a hype or is it here to stay?
Blockchain is both, actually. At this moment, blockchain is a hype due to the popularity of Bitcoin, where it all started. Blockchain was invented in order to enable Bitcoin to be a success, in order to get rid of the middleman, of the institutions that brought much pain to the community in terms of the risks with money, etc., etc.
All right, you mentioned the Bitcoin because it was the most popular cryptocurrency, right? But what you already explained is that there is a difference between the blockchain and the Bitcoin. So let's go back to the blockchain. How do you see that? How do you see that evolving?
That's difficult to say because, as with the introduction of the internet, which is now the hugest thing, right? At first, the only thing we did with the internet was sending emails, right?
Correct.
And it was great. We could look up the website of a company. That was great.
Yeah.
But now, social media, chatting, VoIP, it's all things that come out of the basic properties that the technology brings.
Yeah.
And this is where we are with blockchain. It's new, we're looking at it, we see some of the benefits, but on the long run is where we're going to see all the applications rise up.
Yeah, so it's not just a money thing, just to clarify that, right? It's not, of course, the Bitcoin attracted all the attention, but it's not, blockchain has nothing necessarily to do with the Bitcoin only.
No. Bitcoin is implementation of blockchain technology.
Okay, so can you give me some examples of how blockchain is being used right now?
Blockchain is being used as for Bitcoin, so any cryptocurrency nowadays is employing blockchain as the means to do the transactions. But there's also lots of work being done with blockchain as a truth system to enable people to view the actual data and save and share it with each other.
Another use case?
Identity. Identity is a big thing because there are many people that give their identity out at different points, at banks, at telcos, at car dealerships, and you always need to carry your information around because you have to prove that this is who you are. Is this where you live? You know, you have to bring your bank statement in order for them to see.
Yes.
But what if there were institutions that could guarantee that this is your actual address? Then you don't need to bring the paper. You just authorize, let's say, the car dealership to get your address as it's stated with your telco.
Okay, so this brings me actually to the another question. So who's the owner of all this information, of all this data?
The idea behind the blockchain is that whoever enters the data into the system is the owner of the data, right? So it starts, for example, for the identity management thing, it starts with the citizen loading up its information into the blockchain. Then the government would have to confirm this, and as of this moment you have your information on the blockchain and you can allow others to view it and maybe for a short moment just to confirm that it's there, that it's valid.
Okay. Another question that I have is, for instance, now that users, let's say I'm a user, a computer user, smartphone user, what will I notice when companies are using blockchain? So will there be a difference for me as a user in the experience, or will I not notice anything?
Well, what I expect is that there will be apps that allow you to access information on a blockchain. There will be others that allow you to authorize access to your information on blockchains. I think the biggest thing is that you will know efficiency in terms of services also, because as the risk is, as the information becomes available, more readily available and safe, the aspect of risk and efficiency will go down.
Okay. Are there different flavors of blockchain, or is there one flavor? Like with the reason why I'm asking, because you have all these smartphones with different operating systems like iOS, Android, Windows, etc. Can you comment on that?
Yes. Like all of those things, the operating system is a concept, and then you have several companies or vendors that will implement that concept into a system. The same with blockchain. You have the blockchain implementation that's being used, for example, for Bitcoin, which implements specific rules to enable us to do the transactions. But then you need other kinds of blockchain with different sets of rules to manage the identity. And there's the concept of smart contracts that enable us to implement this business logic and embed it into the system.
Sorry, smart contracts. What's the difference between a normal contract and a smart contract?
Okay, so a normal contract is written down and is verified by a notary, for example, that it's right, and everyone, the participants, need to sign a handwriting that they agree with the contract. If you translate that into a digital blockchain world, that would mean that the contract can be designed by anyone, and the participants would digitally approve that contract and sign the transaction as it needs to occur. For example, when buying a house, you can have standard contracts for the transactions because probably 80% of buying houses is the same. You don't need to do it again and again and again.
So it's repetitive.
Yes, I mean, as long as you have specific things that are the same, you don't need to go to a notary, because we already agreed. Maybe the notary agrees one time that this is a good contract, and after that, away you go.
I got you. So coming back to our region, the Caribbean region, how do you see blockchain evolving? How do you see use cases here happening?
Well, in general, we are at the beginning of everything right now. After the hype of Bitcoin, blockchain becomes popular. You see several startups all over the world trying to develop solutions using the promise of blockchain. And we can do the same. Typically, you will have that developers create new technology for their context, right? It works there, and we try and import that to our region. But the technology is open. There's no secrets about it. You can use existing things, for example, like Hyperledger, which is a platform for developing blockchain solutions. Or you can use something else. You can, if you want to do a cryptocurrency, you can copy the blockchain from Bitcoin and start your own cryptocurrency. It's not rocket science.
Is that easy?
You'd be surprised.
Okay, so what would be the final question that I have now? For more information, I'm sure we will read the white paper. This is a WhiteVideo. So what would you say to people that are looking at blockchain now, or are thinking about blockchain but not doing anything about it?
Blockchain has very specific benefits. When companies that work together engage with other companies to make profit or to achieve specific causes, typically blockchain has benefits in sharing safe information. I would say go out on YouTube or on any other site and inform yourselves. Find your local representatives or blockchain experts and ask them to help. I'm sure there's benefits in there for you.
Thank you, Jerome.
It was my pleasure.
It was very useful for me. I hope it was also useful for you guys. See you next time.